chosen one, pause whatever you are doing and give your full attention to the words I am about to place within your heart. For what has just been seen in you caused the entire higher realm to fall silent in astonishment. This is not a message for you to hear casually amid the surrounding confusion, nor is it a story to be left behind after a few hurried seconds. I need you to be fully present, not because I wish to take away your time, but because you need to recognize the value of a quiet victory that even you have never named. As I looked back upon the days that have just passed, there was one moment concerning you that caused me to pause for a long time. I saw an attitude, a choice, and a response that appeared very small in the eyes of the world, yet they were so significant that the unseen realm around you trembled. You did not prepare for it, calculate how to receive praise, or attempt to prove yourself more virtuous than anyone else. It simply flowed from the pure part of you that has remained intact after everything you have endured. Perhaps you do not remember the exact moment, because to you, it seemed like a natural thing to do. You chose silence instead of speaking words that could have wounded someone. You restrained an angry response, even though you had every reason to erupt. You helped someone while you yourself were weary, or forgave within your heart, even though no apology was ever offered. Perhaps you quietly walked away from an argument, not because you were weak, but because you refused to lose your peace merely to win. You may even have protected the dignity of someone who once caused you pain, though you could easily have revealed every detail and brought them shame. You did not know that this decision created a powerful movement in the unseen realm. Some victories are not measured by applause, but by your ability to preserve kindness, while circumstances are trying to turn you into someone else. What astonished me was not that you have never made mistakes, but that you passed through experiences powerful enough to harden your heart. Yet you still refused to allow bitterness to reign. The world may not understand the weight you carry. People see you continuing to work, answering ordinary questions, smiling, and fulfilling your responsibilities, but they do not know how many nights you had to gather your strength piece by piece. They do not know that you were disappointed by people you trusted, carried cruel words within you for a long time, and were abandoned at the very moment when you most needed a hand to hold. After everything that happened, you could easily have chosen coldness, isolation, and harshness toward life. Yet you did not respond according to the direction of your pain. You chose another road, and that decision caused me to turn my full attention toward you. I, Michael, have stood in the midst of fierce battles that human eyes cannot see. But there is something I want you to understand. Sometimes the greatest battle is not fought between armies, but within the moment when a wounded person decides not to wound another. That victory is not loud. No trumpet is sounded, and no one places a crown of honor upon your head. Yet, it carries a power that darkness cannot ignore. When you refuse to allow injustice to make you unjust, you broke a chain of pain that could have continued passing from one person to another. When you did not answer bitterness with bitterness, you closed a door that the opposition hoped you would open with your own hands. In that very moment, I saw that you were not merely enduring. You were becoming someone who possessed authority over your own responses. Some people believed that your gentleness was weakness, but they were mistaken. Your gentleness does not mean that you do not feel pain. It means that, after discovering how deeply pain can reach, you still choose what is right. Your compassion does not mean that you permit others to continually violate your boundaries. Your forgiveness does not require you to return to a place that drained you. What I honor in you is that you are learning to preserve a pure heart while protecting your peace. You no longer need to prove your strength through a loud voice or violent reactions. Your maturity is revealed through your ability to pause, reflect, and choose what will not cause you regret when a new day begins. Few people can maintain such character under pressure, and this is what caused your case to be brought forward for renewed consideration. I asked the angels to observe your journey more carefully, not to scrutinize you, but to protect what is beginning to take shape. The quiet battles you have won are no longer regarded as meaningless days. Every time you swallowed your tears in order to fulfill your responsibilities. Every moment you remained patient with others, when no one was patient with you, and every decision not to take revenge, when you had the opportunity, became evidence that greater things could be entrusted to you. A blessing does not merely need someone who knows how to ask for it. It needs someone mature enough not to use the gift to feed pride, control, or harm. What you have just demonstrated shows that you are learning to carry power with humility. And this is a sign that a new season is drawing near. However, my beloved child, I also want to remind you not to turn endurance into a habit and then call it kindness. What drew the attention of the higher realm was not your willingness to let others wound you forever, but your refusal to allow those wounds to corrupt your good nature. From this day forward, you must learn how to say no without feeling guilty, how to walk away without offering endless explanations, and how to close doors that produce nothing but confusion. You can be compassionate and still remain firm. You can love someone and still keep your distance. You can pray for good things to come to another person while refusing to grant them continued access to the sacred places within your life. I am teaching you a new kind of strength. Not the strength of reaction, but the strength of conscious choice. The struggles you endured were not merely testing how much you could bear. They were shaping you into someone who knows what deserves your time, love, and presence. In the past, you may have spent too much energy explaining yourself to people who had already decided to misunderstand you. You may have tried to save relationships that only you were holding together, or attempted to prove your worth before eyes that refused to recognize it. But what I have just seen tells me that you are changing. You no longer desire to fight every battle placed before you. You are beginning to understand that sometimes the noblest victory is to walk away without carrying hatred. When you do this, you release yourself from the invisible cord that once bound you to the past. Therefore, what is about to take place in your life will not merely be a reward for one good action, but the result of a long process of growth. Certain doors will begin to open, because you are now ready to pass through them calmly rather than desperately. New opportunities may find you when you stop trying to force old situations to change. People may appear who recognize your worth without requiring you to beg for respect. Decisions that once frightened you will become clearer, because the voice of wisdom in you is growing stronger than the voice of your wounds. I am not saying that every difficulty will disappear immediately, but I am telling you that you will no longer face those difficulties as the former version of yourself. Remain with these words until the end, not to search for a glamorous promise, but to recognize that you have won more victories than you realize. Not every triumph is visible to others. There were battles you won at midnight, when you decided not to send a message in anger. There were victories when you walked away from a place that was draining you. There were days when your only victory was waking up, continuing to live, and refusing to allow despair to speak the final word. I saw all of it. Heaven does not overlook what the world considers small, because your true character is revealed most clearly in the choices no one else witnesses. Now lift your head and stop viewing yourself merely as someone who knows how to endure. You are someone who learned how to overcome without losing gentleness, how to fight without becoming cruel, and how to leave without creating further destruction. It was this attitude that caused me to pause, observe, and request that the matters concerning your future be opened again. What is coming will require you to continue preserving the humility, awareness, and self-control you have demonstrated. Do not return to your old reactions merely because someone tries to test your boundaries. Remember that you do not need to win by making another person lose. You need only remain steadfast in truth, protect your peace, and continue moving forward. I am beside you. And what drew the attention of the higher realm was not that you never fell, but that after everything, you still chose to become light. Before I open your understanding more deeply concerning what is taking place, I want you to look honestly at yourself and recognize that you have crossed an invisible boundary where your former self no longer possesses the same power to hold you back. Recently, you may not have known how to name this change, but you have felt it in the way you respond more slowly to things that once made you angry, in the calmness that appears within circumstances that could once have caused you to collapse, and in the gentle inner voice reminding you that you no longer need to live according to old wounds. If you wish to mark this moment, you may write the number 777 as a reminder to yourself that you are ready to move forward. But remember, the power does not lie in the numbers you write. It lies in your sincere agreement with the path of growth, healing, and wisdom that is opening before you. I want you to understand that every person is observed, not through eyes of judgment, but through the patience of the realm of light, where every small decision reveals what is growing within them. Human beings often respond according to familiar patterns. When they are hurt, they easily build walls of coldness. When they are betrayed, they desire to make the other person feel the same pain. When they are misunderstood, they try to prove themselves right through words that cause even more harm. When they are treated unfairly, anger can become a fire that consumes even the good things they once protected. Such responses do not make them evil. They merely reveal that pain, which has not been brought into the light, often attempts to produce more pain. Through many generations, this cycle has repeated itself so frequently that people regard it as normal. Whoever wounds us must be wounded in return. Whoever abandons us causes us to close the door to everyone, and whoever betrays us causes us never to trust again. Yet sometimes, among countless predictable responses, one person chooses another road. They do not deny what they endured, pretend that the wound never existed, or justify the wrongdoing of the person who hurt them. Nevertheless, they refuse to let another person's cruelty determine who they will become. That moment carries greater weight than any declaration, because it is the moment when someone stops darkness from continuing to flow through them. You created such a moment. You may not have recognized it, because what you did not take place before a crowd, and no one applauded you. It happened in silence, when you stood alone, before the choice between returning pain and preserving the goodness within you. Recently, you passed through a situation that seemed designed to strike the most vulnerable place within you. Its weight did not come from one isolated event alone. It also carried old memories, disappointments you had tried to forget, and questions for which you had never found answers. There were moments when you felt unable to carry one more day. You became so tired that even explaining your feelings seemed beyond your strength. Those who know your story might not have blamed you if you surrendered, became angry, or closed your heart completely. They might even have said that you had the right to do so, because what you endured was real. The injustice you faced was real, and the marks it left behind were not imagined. I'd know that person or circumstance truly treated you wrongly. You do not need to minimize what happened in order to prove that you are noble. You do not need to call evil good, nor must you return to a place that exhausted you merely to demonstrate compassion. Forgiveness does not mean denying the truth, nor does it require you to restore access to someone who has not changed. Some boundaries must be established, some distances must be maintained, and some doors must be closed so that peace can be protected. I am not asking you to accept injustice. I simply do not want that injustice to continue ruling your emotions, decisions, and future. What made your choice exceptional was not that you merely survived. Many people continue because they have no other option, because responsibility forces them to wake each morning, or because instinct will not allow them to remain on the ground. But you did more than exist. You saw the anger within yourself without allowing it to take control. You felt bitterness trying to take root, but you refused to continue watering it with thoughts of revenge. You had the opportunity to speak words that could have wounded the other person, in the same way they wounded you. But something within you caused you to stop. You may still have cried, trembled, and struggled with many conflicting emotions. But in the end, you did not allow the darkest part of the experience to turn you into a reflection of what had harmed you. My beloved child, this is the moment, the realm of light acknowledged, not when you appeared strong, but when you had every reason to become cruel and still chose to preserve your heart from corruption. You did not choose light because it was easy. You chose it when light appeared to be the most difficult road. You may have wanted to scream, destroy everything, or prove that you were not weak. But then you recognized that true strength is not found in making someone else taste your pain. Strength is found in ending a cycle without passing it to the next person. When you chose not to turn your wound into a weapon, you accomplished something many people are unable to do even after a lifetime of reflection. However, I do not want you to misunderstand gentleness as a requirement to remain silent before everything. There are times when you must clearly speak about what happened. There are times when you must defend your dignity, seek justice, or leave an environment that is no longer safe. Maturity does not make you passive. On the contrary, it enables you to act without being controlled by hatred. You can say no without cursing. You can walk away without trying to destroy those who remain. You can tell the truth without adding words intended to humiliate. You can demand accountability while protecting your heart from becoming imprisoned by the desire for revenge. Perhaps no one knows how fiercely you had to fight in order to make that choice. They see only your outward calm and assume that you were not hurt as deeply as you claimed. But I saw the nights when you lay still while a storm raged within you. I saw you prevent yourself from sending an angry message, erase the words you had written, and leave the room so that you would not react while your emotions were overwhelming. I saw you wonder why you had to preserve kindness when the other person appeared to suffer no consequences. And I saw the moment when you understood that your goodness was not a reward for them. It was protection for you. You did not preserve a pure heart because the other person deserved it, but because you refused to allow your future to remain bound to what they had done. From that quiet choice, a transformation began. You are no longer someone who must react to every insult in order to prove your value. You do not need to win every argument to know that you are standing in truth. Nor do you wish to spend years carrying something that happened within only a few moments. This does not mean that you have completely overcome everything. There will be days when memories return, anger unexpectedly awakens, or you regret not having said something. When those moments come, do not condemn yourself. Healing is not a straight road that never moves backward. It means that whenever the wound rises again, you choose once more not to give it authority over you. I want you to know that this decision opened a new door within you. In the past, you may have believed victory would come when the person who hurt you recognized their wrongdoing, apologized, or suffered consequences. But now you are learning that a deeper victory occurs when your peace no longer depends upon whether they understand. You may still desire justice, but you no longer postpone your life while waiting for it. You may still remember what happened, but that memory is no longer permitted to continue writing your future. You do not have to forget the past in order to become free. You need only stop allowing it to command how you live today. Therefore, look upon the transformation within you with gratitude. You are passed through a trial not to prove that you were invulnerable, but to discover that your tenderness was never weakness. You cried, but you did not collapse. You felt pain, but you did not become cruel. You were treated unjustly, but you refused to allow injustice to produce a distorted version of you. This is why I said, you crossed an invisible boundary. The former version of you may have sought revenge in order to feel that justice had been restored, but the person you are becoming now seeks clarity. In order to be free, continue walking in this way, but do not forget to care for yourself. Rest when you are tired, seek support when your strength is low, and do not feel ashamed when you need someone to listen. Stability does not require you to endure everything alone. I do not want you to turn suffering into a source of pride and continue remaining in circumstances that drain you. Choosing light also means leaving dark places, seeking trustworthy people, and allowing yourself to be loved in a healthy way. Forgiveness does not erase the wisdom you have gained. It prevents that wisdom from being transformed into fear. Therefore, if you feel something moving within you, receive it calmly. You do not need to prove your awakening to anyone. Let the change be seen in the way you speak, the choices you make, and your refusal to return to old cycles. I witnessed the moment when you refused to allow pain to become bitterness. I saw you choose peace when you had every reason to begin a war. I want you to remember that this decision was not small. It was a sign that you are becoming someone capable of carrying light through a place that was once dark without allowing the darkness to remain attached to your heart. At this very moment, my beloved child, allow the Amen you write to become a declaration that you are willing to enter the restoration opening before you. Do not regard it as an empty ritual or an action performed, merely because someone else told you to do it. A declaration has meaning only when it rises from sincerity within you. When you say Amen, you are declaring that you no longer desire to live forever in doubt, allow old wounds to determine your future, or reject what is good, merely because disappointment has become familiar. Your voice is not being used to purchase favor, but it helps you hear your own decision clearly. You agree with healing, growth, and the righteous path being placed before your feet. Heaven does not need you to produce a great performance in order to prove your faith. What is being sought within you is an honest heart and a responsible decision. When you speak your agreement, the angels do not act as though you have correctly recited a mysterious code. Instead, you are opening your heart to receive guidance, recognize the right doors, and step away from what has confined you. Some prayers cannot replace a decision, just as some doors, though already opened, still require you to walk through them. Therefore, let your Amen become the beginning of new actions. Learn to protect your peace. Choose healthy relationships. Remain faithful to what has been entrusted to you, and refuse to return to places that have repeatedly exhausted you. Remain within this stillness, because I want you to understand why certain things were delayed for so long. Not every delay means that you were rejected. Some things did not come because you needed more time to recognize your worth. Some doors did not open because dangers remained behind them that you could not yet see. Certain people had to leave so that they would not enter your new season and damage what was being built. Some plans had to stop because you were being led toward a road better than anything you had imagined. When you look back, you will understand that many delays were protective barriers, preventing you from receiving the right gift at the wrong time. I know there were moments when you believed those who opposed you had succeeded. They caused you to feel forgotten, hidden, and buried beneath unfair judgments. Some believed that closing one door would bring your future to an end. Some thought that silencing your voice would make the light within you disappear. But they forgot that a seed beneath the ground is not a dead seed. It is being covered so that it may develop roots invisible to human eyes. The darkness surrounding the seed is not its ending. It is the chamber preparing it to rise. The days when you believed you had been buried may have been the very days when your strength was being formed in silence. You are the seed others underestimated, but you did not disappear. You learned how to remain steadfast without applause, and how to continue walking even when no one understood what you were enduring. The shaking you feel does not necessarily mean that everything is collapsing. Sometimes it is the old soil breaking apart so that a new shoot can rise. The things that once surrounded you too tightly are gradually losing their control. Fear no longer holds you, as it once did. Judgment no longer possesses enough power to define you, and the past cannot forever prevent you from seeing the future. I tell you that the hidden season will not last forever. It is time to stop calling yourself someone who has been buried and begin recognizing that you were planted in order to grow. You may feel unprepared for what is coming, but readiness does not always appear before you take a step. Often it is formed while you obey what is right. You do not need every answer before beginning. You need only enough light for the next step. Obedience is not blind action, nor does it require you to abandon discernment. It means choosing what is true even while fear remains, continuing even when you cannot yet see the result, and preserving integrity during the moments when no one is watching. I am not demanding perfection from you. I simply do not want you to use the feeling of being unprepared as an excuse to delay what you already know deep within that you must do. Everything is moving, but the first movement must begin within you. Your outward circumstances may not change immediately, but the way you see them is being transformed. You will begin to recognize opportunities once concealed by anxiety. You will possess enough clarity to distinguish between doors you should enter and places you need to leave. You will no longer react to every provocation or continue wasting your strength, trying to prove your worth to people who have already decided not to see it. This quiet transformation is the foundation of greater changes. When peace is restored within you, you will make different decisions. From those different decisions, a new road will gradually be formed. If you choose to press the like button, let it serve only as a reminder to yourself that you are choosing hope rather than despair. But do not believe that a click by itself can unlock a blessing or force heaven to answer. Grace is not a product exchanged for interaction, and the love of God is not measured by how many times you press an icon. What matters is the decision you make afterward. Will you begin caring for yourself more faithfully? Will you stop returning to a habit that has drained you? Will you courageously complete the work you have delayed, apologize when necessary, and say no to what is no longer right for you? These choices are what demonstrate that your declaration has truly taken root. In the same way, following a channel or remaining to listen should help you avoid missing useful reminders, not cause you to live in fear that you will lose your blessing if you do not comply. I do not call you through coercion. The voice of light brings clarity, freedom, and responsibility. It does not plant panic or make you dependent upon constant notifications. Receive whatever helps you become kinder, steadier, and more truthful, while possessing enough discernment to leave promises that frighten you or attempt to control your choices. I want you to mature in your ability to discern, because someone who is genuinely guided does not merely know how to listen. They also know how to test everything through peace and the good fruit it produces. Therefore, my beloved child, say Amen, if it is truly the agreement within you, and then rise to live according to what you have declared. You are no longer a forgotten seed. You are rising through the soil of difficult seasons, carrying the strength formed during days when no one was watching. What once made you believe you had been buried will become the place that proves you learned how to take root. Trust, but also act. Hope, but do not abandon wisdom. Walk forward, even though you cannot see the entire road, because I will illuminate each part at the moment you need to see it. Restoration is not merely the recovery of what was lost. It is also the moment when you become mature enough to preserve what is new. You are rising, not to return to your former life, but to enter the season for which you have been prepared for a very long time.